Welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of EUCF 2023. Pool action from Pool A. Fab, the Flying Angels of Bern, taking on Otso from Finland. This in Pool A, with both sides carrying through a 15-8 loss against Mooncatchers this morning. So as you can tell, this proves that it should be a tight, engrossing contest. Benji Reese soon to have Lorcan Murray slot in alongside me. Disc checked in with Fab beginning on offense. Immersi looking for options, but there's quite tight, tough coverage downfield. It's low, but scooped by Elmiga. Back to Immersi. Looks like they're going to give the keys to drive this offense. Dawn fakes the backhand down the line. Goes central to Immersi. Now Libashevsky with a little dish back to Dawn. On the sideline, just a couple of yards away. Now with the stall count rising, can Immersi find the release valve that he wants? He really jams that one into the end zone, and the spike is jammed into the ground. I'm not sure quite how they managed to find the room, but they did so. And Luis Bisat makes it 1-0 on serve here. Flying Angels. Lorcan, good job you made it here, because tell you what a stunner you had in that last one.
Incredible scenes. I've done 2 games on that pitch so far. They've both been universe. Unbelievable stuff to see, and so excited for the action to just keep going. Flying Angels Bern, quite the institution, going up against Otso, who are no strangers to big moments themselves, but have always seemed to have the upper echelons of European Ultimate ever so slightly escape them. So, very interesting matchup, a game both of these teams think they can win and put them in a strong position in their group. But yes, it's been a very exciting day so far, Benji.
It has indeed. As I mentioned earlier, both of these sides will qualify, will get a chance to qualify for the top 16, because the group winners go straight through, whereas the second and third place in each pool play a little crossover. So even if you're bottom of the pool, you still know there is a chance to come at the top. But at the moment, that's all these two sides can achieve, because Mooncatchers beat both of these sides 15-8 this morning. There's a layout bit that is a little bit short.
So it is literally all to play for between these two sides.
Sam Barrett with the hammer over the top, and it is knocked away. Alitalo with the block, I think. No, it's Mark Mossiman. Fisher centers. Now they're trying to work down the sideline, looking for the early break. Fisher swings. Floated. Now redirected central. Looking for options. There's the deep shot. They've got a target they like, but there's pressure underneath it. A little bit of contact, and Samba just kind of goes over to make sure that he's okay. Christian Hopper, though, will make it 2-0 to Flying Angels.
The intensity on the pitch not being matched with an aggressiveness between the sidelines. Hotly contested. You can see, gets it into the power position. Almost that classic shrug. Why isn't anybody going deep? Oh, he is. And this is a big battle. Well won. But then the spirit immediately afterwards, which is one of our favorite aspects about it. Christian Hop. Justifying his name right there.
A 37-year-old, but I must say looks pretty good for that.
Seen some people in their mid to late 30s absolutely cutting up the pitch today already. Shout out to some of the Estonians, Lorets, Ilves, all very impressive in their recent match against Grenoble. I won't tell you the score. I will tell you, you want to go back and watch it, so no spoilers, but definitely worth the hour and a half of your life. As was the game that we enjoyed doing together earlier on, Benji.
Yeah, Panthers up against Czech. Panthers Wrocław, that is, of course, because we also have Panthers Bern here as well. As there's a deep shot from Otso. He's going to see if he can take this all the way into the end zone, but in the end he's going to be just a step shy. The little dish back, Vaninen. Goes back here. Järvi finds the option on the far side, and that gets Otso on the board with Järvi punching it into Roni Hotari.
And Roni Hotari, so lethal, so difficult to shut down, a real force for Finnish sides for a long time, but really that's pretty easy to describe that as the best Otso have looked so far in this matchup. They're in danger of letting a pretty big deficit build up.
Yeah, the game is very much still in its nascent stages, and there's a lot of Ultimate to be played. But yeah, always nice to get on the board, because the longer it goes without scoring, the harder you seem to make it on yourself. Every point, that mental pressure keeps weighing you down. So good to get those jitters out of the way.
I do wonder about the blown coverage. Fab trying to help out in the deep space, but just losing track of their assignments, allowing Otso for a pretty easy shot. And if there's something we know about the Finns, they're not afraid to take on some deep shots.
They are not.
So here comes Fab, pinned back in there eventually. Lipszewski picks it up, but he really delayed that decision for a while. And now they're just going to have to go for some quick fire resets, try and generate something downfield. They're almost clogging their own open side. Rees centers it, collected by Metzger. Metzger. It's not a huge amount of movement. It's a lot of attacking from the front of the stack right now. Lipszewski. Back across to Basath. Metzger. So quick resets, not huge gainers, but they are giving themselves a little bit of breathing room with every successful completion. Dorn down the line and into the hands of Elmigo, which I think means every player on the pitch has touched the disc right now for Fab. Really nice stuff by them. Immersive, as they're getting everybody involved and working it all the way down. There's the high arcing pass. Well weighted and comfortably collected by Metzger.
How good was that from Flying Angels? They just did not seem phased at all by the fact that they could barely have started in worse field position, and you can kind of see what Lipszewski was going for, just trying to coax the disc out of the back of the end zone so they could get the free march to the front, and it just refused to play ball with them, and they didn't get flustered, they stayed patient, they tried to keep the disc moving quickly, and when they needed to, they were also happy to air it out and let people make plays. Ad Metzger did there. And Flying Angels still yet to turn it over early on in this game.
Looking very professional right now. Clean cut kit as well. I used to really like the Fab kit that made them look like superheroes, but I'm enjoying this dark blue. A lot of cityscapes. You're seeing that more and more. Glasgow also going with it. A lot of teams with that option.
Yeah, it's not overcomplicated, the Fab jersey. I'm with you. I like it.
I've always had my issues with the Otso logo. Thought it was a bit peculiar, but that is a nice kit as well. We'll see how nice their players are. Beautiful scooping inside backhand break. And Otso are off to the races. Elanhemo able to get it across. Sandberg forced to take the dump back. Not a huge amount going on. Vatoranta gets it back to Sandberg, but there's a pick called, so it might go back to him.
Yeah, they are just going to send that disc back, deciding that it did indeed affect play.
These two teams are coming out firing, though. Really, really high effort.
Yeah, in the hot sun here in Wrocław, and of course with the artificial surface, it does seem to radiate that heat back out, but both sides at the moment enjoying the flat, fast track.
Vataranta, a bit of give-go, tries to get himself into hucking position. And a big bid, understandably. You gotta go for it in that situation, but it sails over Hinkle's head for the comfortable clap catch. Tommy Sandberg.
Yeah, Sandberg is doing exactly the right thing there because he's committing the defender there, Hinkle, to going up early, and when Hinkle does go up and doesn't get it, he knows that he's got time, he's got space. He doesn't need to try and make a catch that's difficult in any way, shape or form, to be honest. He's already done the hard work in creating the box out, and he can just jog all the way to pay dirt. Easy as that.
So some nice, really well-balanced hugs for the two scores for Otso so far, as they are keeping it close. 3-2. They gave up the break straight away, but growing into this game, I think, with every pass and showing that they are here to play, bearing in mind this is the game to decide, can you get into the crossover or not? So it's the game to go in a lot of ways, Benji.
Well, both of these sides do go into the crossovers, but it's about having the easier matchup, of course, because the second place plays the third place team in a different pool, whereas the third place team plays the second place team, and thus you're making yourself, you're giving yourself a more difficult path.
That's not the route you want to take when you're here playing at the EUCF. Of course, this is the open division, so they'll be playing their crossover games later today.
They will indeed, and this pool crosses over with Pool G, which has Wall City, Outsitters, and Smash D.
And that is not the kind of huck that they were hoping for. Sailing out of bounds from the hands of Severin Rees.
First honor of the game from Fab.
So in that Pool G,
Wall City have it sewn up already, so it's just a question of Outsitters and Smash D who comes out on top in that one. And the Slovakian outfit played Wall City a little bit closer, so maybe they're the favourites, but neither is sides to be trifled with, as that one is maybe a little bit too far in front of McKean.
Just bounces out of his hands, and Bern get the chance back. Otso let the break opportunity go begging. Working it down the pitch, nice and quick. Using that short space, going for the arc across, and it had to be attacked early. Nicely done. And then the finished off shot, Libashevsky was able to get control. With a Stauffer, he threw to for the goal.
Yes, you did not mishear us. That is a Stauffer out there. It seems to have been the name in Swiss Ultimate for generations, thinking of course about Lorenz and Thomas, the two brothers.
And now Luzi Stauffer, only 18 years old, but has been playing for 8 years.
Yep.
Allegedly. And of course, why did you start? My father played. And then quite touchingly naming, do you have who's your sporting hero? Lorenz Stauffer.
I mean, when Fab won back-to-back titles at the turn of the last decade, Lorenz Stauffer was a huge reason why.
Carrying on that legacy. No pressure, Lucy. So here come Otso. And a bit of a zone look, certainly like a three-man wall. Trying to stifle the Finns. We'll see how they respond.
Yeah, it won't be anything that Otso haven't seen before, but just trying to get them off rhythm a little bit.
Vananen gets it back to Vataranta. And across, nice little quick play between them. Elanhimo. Just trying to find those gaps, the spaces. Fab seemed to be switching back to a little bit of match. There's the fake out of Vataranta. I thought he was absolutely lashing that one deep, but he puts it back in his pocket. Sandberg sends it down the line. They're starting to really get going now again. They holstered the deep shot. This time it's Vananen making the decision. Sandberg. Arcs a big one all the way across and almost outside of the reach of Vurio. But instead he collects it comfortably and shoots to the end zone. Antti Elanhimo collects.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt being tall, does it?
It looks like an advantage in certain situations. Maybe not on cheap plane rides, but when the disc is in danger of sailing over your head. So we have another look at that fantastic stretching grab. Nicely done. Don't know if that counts as a travel with how he slowed down and turned around, but
it looked to me like the Fab player was thinking about calling it and then decided that, did it really have an effect? Probably not.
So Viorio to Ilan Himo. And Otso, these last 2 points, that offense has looked really, really clean.
Yeah, just that early mistake they made on their first high point of the game has given us the game's only break to date.
I remember it well, Benji.
You were here.
Yeah, I was.
Just about.
I was watching on my phone as I cycled across. No, I wasn't. Never do that, kids. It's very dangerous. I was listening. As in case what you're doing today, wherever you are in Europe, we appreciate that it's still a Friday and a lot of people are working very hard, much like our crew
As
here.
are we, yeah.
I wasn't going to let you not get credit, Benji. It's Fab. 4-3 to the good. Looking to hold on to that lead and work their way down the pitch. Dorn. That's a nice break around. Collected by Rees. Back into Dorn. Fab have deep space available, but not able to time the attack to it very well. Petraikas sitting in it. Forced to just keep swinging it around. Get it back into Stauffer. Metzger says no to the dump pass to what I thought was quite a free Bissath. Stauffer clears out of the space, able to get it around in the end. So Otso ratcheting up the pressure, but so far Fab staying equal to it. Metzger. I thought he overthrew his intended receiver. I think a lot of people did.
I mean, he may have done, but it didn't matter because Emercy was there. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Dorn to Rees. Rees to Stauffer. Right outside the end zone. That was an experienced grab by Bissath. And while he was able to get it to Dorn, there's a pick called, so it's going to go back to Bissath. The way he took that grab from South there.
Lightning quick reactions.
I think that's a turnover in a lot of other people's hands. Is it across?
Or out of a lot of other people's hands.
There's the inside dip, flick, break to Metzger for the score. Nicely done, and Mercy with the assist.
Every time I've seen Daniele Mercy this season, I've been so impressed, both way back at Vienna Spring Break in the early season and streamed Switzerland in their first game, Switzerland Open in their first game at EUC against Denmark, and they kind of just did not look in sorts at all. And then later in the week, by the time Daniele Mercy had come back, they seemed so much more in rhythm. He's one of those players, he can be really shifty and he creates that separation nice and easily, and he's got the ability to throw from all sorts of different platforms, and it makes the Forces job an absolute nightmare.
Something that a lot of these Fab players are really adept at, and we've seen them be able to move the disc around. Even when Otso are doing a good job, I think it was a lot of Patrick Petraikas on that one, just kind of sitting off in the deep space to limit those options. They've looked really assured in themselves, just cycling the disc around in the short field space. So here come Otso, looking to keep it close. And tie this, well, not tie this game back up, but keep it within one. Petraikas. And Fab sticking with this front three, at least initially. Petraikas, nice little bit of give-go. And Sandberg just leads him again. This is all about Patrick Petraikas. Every second pass and gets the assist, throwing the final score to Tuukka Vanenen.
I mean, they have players who can do that. They can, just when they want to, take over points and really stamp their authority on them. Have a look at it again now on the replay. Petraikas, he's just going every other pass, isn't he?
I think the most impressive pass was this one from Sandberg. The way he was able to just so comfortably lead it out. Petraikas never stopped moving, and then if you can isolate a cutter like that in the end zone, it's game over.
It's game over indeed.
So it's a closely contested affair, apart from that initial misstep from Otso. These two teams very well balanced. And honestly, from what I'm seeing right now, I'd probably pick either of them against either of Outsiders and Smash D.
I mean, House City, you know, they played Wall City very close this morning, 15-12.
Huge shot. Really well chased down on the other side.
Didn't even need to lay out for it.
I thought maybe it was going to need something spectacular, but Dorn just turning on the burners. And then those go-go gadget arms reaching out and collecting the disc.
You're just eating up the turf in front of him with those long strides. I mean, this is one of the advantages if you can catch the ball and try and get your offense going early, because the defense isn't necessarily quite set. And in Mercy, just an effortless looking flick. In stride, really, for Dawn. Again, reaches out right in front of him to snag it in. And that's already Mercy's, what, third assist of the game?
I think so. He's an absolutely incredible player. Came up with Crazy Dog Stand. Now playing with Fab. Although he's a train driver, so I imagine you could reasonably play for like a lot of teams. Switzerland isn't that big.
Interesting. Train driver. That's one of the cooler jobs I think we've had.
Yeah, I've always thought that it's a pretty cool job, you know? Maybe not right now in England, it's pretty rough for them, but where we both live, well, where I live, you live in Wales. I don't think it's much better for them.
Our transport's nationalised.
Don't you have a football team named after like one of your train companies?
It's not important. They renamed themselves. They're no longer Total Network Solutions.
So Vataranta starting off, the side stack, and an immediate break throw across. Vaninen gets it down the line, and Otso just working that space they created for themselves. Really nicely done. Ilanhimo back into the middle. And the waiting hands of Vataranta. Spreads out again. Vataranta's really critical, sitting in that linchpin role of this offensive structure. And getting low when his team need him to, doing that dirty work. Otari and Vataranta working together. That initially I think Otari thought he was being grossly overshot. That's going to go back for a pick, so no score for Vaninen yet.
I can say offense has really ruled the roost so far in this contest, hasn't it? Even when they've got into tough jams, they've been able to generally make the plays necessary to get them out of it.
It's been really great movement, and then trusting your throwers to take on some break throws so that they can unlock those alternate sides of the pitch for your team. So Vataranta goes back to him. He has Ilanhimo in the dump position. He looks at the end zone for a very long time. Ilanhimo makes the move down the line, attacking that front corner. Big sweeping cut. This time the score does go to Tauko Vaninen.
It's the difference between these two sides has been that both sides have had one break opportunity. Fab took theirs and Otso didn't, and that's why they've got that one break advantage. But it is so close between these two sides. It's crazy.
And once again, we are the arbiters of justice, hoping to qualify the score. 6-5 to Fab.
And as you know, everything we say goes. We have all the power. ULTI.TV has never got a score wrong. Don't look into that.
Don't at us, please. In the chat, why don't you leave a comment if you think we've ever gotten any? No, don't. Crash YouTube.
But engagement, it drives the algorithm.
Oh, that's true. Leave comments. Call us out.
We mentioned, of course, that this pool crossover with Pool G. So the winner of this game plays the loser of Smash D versus Outsiders, and the loser plays the winner. Smash D currently up 6-4 in that one.
Fair play to the young gorillas from England. As a big shot coming from Bern. You were talking about offense ruling the roost. Fantastic correction on the cut down field by Reese. Perhaps a little bit too much contact. Yep, he's going to have to call an injury. Fournier maybe getting a little too familiar.
Travel on the throw, I think, as well.
All right, so we're going to send it back and do it again.
Glasto rules.
So Eugen Dorn.
Going to bring Metzger on. He's not a bad replacement, to be honest.
No, Metzger's already got, is it 2 or 3 points so far in this game? He's had a very impressive showing.
Just the 2 so far, but this is an opportunity for the 3rd.
That is a fantastic break. And then we can just have a look here. Was the...
I feel like the foot moves after.
I think he actually called travel before he threw it, because he did do that little kind of dance step thing to get into position. But they get the disc back. Metzger, who came on. Gets it across to Dorn. One hand snag, comfortable, casual. He's not worried. Back to Metzger. Not a lot of movement coming from the stack, though. Front of stack makes a very difficult to hit throw. Dorn bobbles, catches, thinks about the deep shot, launches it. He's looking for Biseth, but it's always going, or Biseth, it's always going the wrong way. And I think very understandably, Petraikis just pointing. I'm taking it in from here.
I mean, he doesn't really have a choice.
Well, I think he's actually going to wind up coming in where he's indicating there's a little bit of discussion about how far up the pitch it's going to be. That discussion between Immersi and Petraikis. It's going to be Jason McKean, the famous Swiss McKeans.
Are you suggesting that he's not actually Swiss?
No, being called McKean's a traditional name. And that's a tough pass, an immediate turnover. Great pressure on the dump coverage, forced him to go for a really leading flick throw. Not the easiest things to guide. And once again, Otso let their break chance go away from them. You can't imagine they're going to get too many if these teams keep playing offense at this level. Pick, pop, score, simple as that. And then the butt spike.
You can't be letting them have that. By which I mean the score of that kind of that ease rather than the butt spike. He scored kind of got to let him have it, to be honest. You mentioned that they surrendered the disc far too cheaply, to be honest, and they've got the one-on-one set up at the front of the end zone. It feels like Knuti's kind of expecting some help that's not there, because otherwise that is, well, it's like stealing.
It's a questionable marking decision. Biseth is very quick, and I really think you got to use your body to stop his first move if you don't have assistance coming on the weak side. Which it didn't seem like it was there, and Immersi was able to just sit it out on a plate for him.
Yeah, just the 4th assist of the game. Not bad.
No, it's fine. He's only thrown more than half of his team's goals. You can see Fab can get it done both ways. Some of those deep shots, perhaps not coming off quite as effectively in the latter parts of the half, but not afraid to take them on. That's a nice little flick break. Taken in. And down the line to Vananen. Sandberg thought about a deep shot himself, turns it down. Lanhimo's coming way back under that. That's how you do an undercut. That was a deep cut he recognized wasn't coming.
There is a pick, which I think seemed inevitable. It felt like there was a lot of traffic rubbing over each other, metaphorically rather than literally.
Vananen gets it down the line. Vioro. Stolkan climbing higher, he goes for the very bladey hammer, comfortably collected on the other side by Tommy Sandberg.
Anyone who watched the European Indoor Ultimate Championships back in Lithuania in December will know that the Finns are more than comfortable playing indoors in those in the still conditions on the fast track here. It doesn't feel too different to that. Sandberg was huge for them that weekend, and a lot of the time we saw him throwing it. This time, he's collecting it, adept at either end of things. Otso with it's the chillest hammer I think I've ever seen. Just a little lob over to the soft side. But in the end zone, those hammers can be so lethal because everyone gets nice and tight, especially if you're on one sideline. The break side space you've got is huge, and if you can just put it far enough out in front, your receiver's always favourite to get there first.
The conditions have been quite amicable over the course of the day, so we've seen sporadic uses of zones, mostly in response to very effective offensive strategies from teams.
It feels like it's been more, rather than kind of the primary play, it's been more a bit of a counter punch and adjustment.
So for now, you can get away with kind of lofting those bladey hammers up there. A very, very gentle breeze starting to blow in, but just enough to cool us. I don't think enough to put a chill into any of these players on the pitch. Well versed as they are. Immersi.
That's got to go.
And it doesn't. Really great defense both downfield and in front of the disc to make that an unappealing option. Stauffer gets it back to Bisat. The layout clap catch. Taken in by Elmiger. Turns down Metzger. So you can see Otso staying just close enough to dissuade some of these open side cuts. Immersi blades into the middle to Metzger. And Metzger with the backhand break across and around. Marco Elmiger collects for half.
You will scarcely find a better half of offensive ultimate this tournament. I mean, the O-lines combined to turn it over 3 times. Otso turned it over just once on their first low point of the game. Fab punched it in. Fab's O-line have surrendered it twice, but got it back in relatively short order both times, and that's why they've got that 1 break advantage heading into the second half. It's, yeah, if you're looking at this thinking about how do I play good defense against teams like this, good luck, because it seems so smooth and so slick. Here's the story of the half provided by our friends over at I'll start that again. Force Sportswear. I accidentally spoonerized it there. There are actually more clean holds for Otso than for Fab, and they've generated 2 break chances to the 1, but the big difference is that Fab converted theirs, and Otso have not managed to do so.
And that will be the interesting adjustment that we're going to look out for in the second half when we get back to the action as it stands. Flying Angels Bern 8, Otso 6.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
There are so many reasons to outfit your team in Force beyond just looking the part of a champion. Force offers professional design services with their dedicated graphics team. All apparel is produced in France. Force works with a local labour team and their raw materials are sourced in Europe. Force insists on transparency with no hidden fees and international express shipping. Look the part and play the part with Force Sportswear.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody who is enjoying this very entertaining affair, and it has been something of an offensive showcase, Benji.
A masterclass, you might even call it. 8-6, and we're coming off the half, and you know, still got 45 minutes of game left. I think that speaks to how quick it's been.
So just over half an hour played, 5 turnovers in total in the half, 1 break. Otso have more chances, but haven't been able to convert. First of all, they got to put this one away and keep the pressure on.
And we were talking about in the first half how when we've seen zone, generally it's not been as a primary look, it's been as a way to try and maybe shut out pool plays or just change the rhythm a little bit. Fab started with it there and have now transitioned into going one-on-one.
Vataranta. They're trying to just isolate someone in front of the handler, get them to cut. Try to sort themselves out downfield a little bit quicker. Vaninen. Back to Vataranta. A lovely linchpin swinging across to Sandberg for the comfortable clap, catch, collect.
Meet the second half, same as the first half. It's just so slick and smooth. It's like Swiss chocolate or I don't know where I'm going with this.
Finish Nurmstrong?
I'll be honest, I'm not particularly good on Finnish culture. I know they're like a sauna, but I don't know how that works here.
Yeah, all I know is pickled fish and saunas. And that's about it.
Actually, could probably go for some pickled fish about now.
A lot of pickled things. And it's been a good time. But I tell you what's fresh right now, and it's these two offenses. Smooth, easy work. Well, I wouldn't say easy work, but you could see the way they were setting it up. It was so clean, and the isolations just get the disc to somebody, so when they look up, they're looking at one move, and that's what they have to hit.
It's like the thing I'm enjoying is that there's just good vibes going on in the Olympic Stadium at the moment. You know, two teams that they're out there, they're clearly enjoying themselves, it feels like, and you know, the vibe is kind of permeating throughout, that it's, you know, it's not that it's not intense, but both sides are really enjoying being out there.
So Fab, Immersi. Bisat Metzger. And Metzger was looking down. I didn't think he was going to be able to hit Reese, to be honest with you, but gets there in the end. Metzger gets it back from Elmiga. Metzger goes back to Immersi. Immersi almost takes an immediate flick break. Decides to wait until Melga can make that a slightly easier throw. Takes off himself. Gets into the position to take a huck, but well shot down. Roni Hotari doing a patrolling job at the back of that stack. They go across to Stauffer instead. The 18-year-old keeps his nerve. Immersi. I love that outside-in flick break. Milga. Thought he might take on a break to Metzger. Doesn't want to force anything too much. Immersi can take that break on. Smooth as you like. And oop, Lipszewski gets the goal.
5 assists now for Immersi. Expect to see him at the very top of the tournament rankings when everything is all played out on Sunday evening. He's a master distributor, to be honest.
I gotta say, watching these two offenses work really makes me wonder how good the Wall City defense is. They beat both these teams 15-8.
Moon catchers.
Moon catchers. Still, same point.
Yeah. I just want to make a point about Oswin Metzger's haircut. It's very short at the sides. It looks a little bit like Don Mattingly after Mr. Burns told him to trim those sideburns. Right? You see what I mean?
I see exactly what you mean. You know, I always wanted to try that formula. That,
oh, the nerve tonic.
The nerve tonic. See if it would help. You'd need some nerve tonic right now.
I mean, I tried it, and to be fair, it made me grow out, not so much up.
I feel like that's the problem I have with a lot of my drinking choices as well.
Yeah.
9-7 to Fab. Otso receiving the disc. One break came in the second point of this game. Otso haven't turned since on the O-line, we should say.
But the thing is, that hasn't mattered because Fab's O-line have only surrendered it twice, and they've got it back on both occasions.
Ilan Himo. Ooh, and that's a leading pass. Dangerous! Big block! Incredible stuff from Ralph Ducot.
That is phenomenal work. You knew it was going to have to be something a little bit special to get the disc off either O-line. Boy, was that special.
Ducot with the huge play. Now he makes the move in front of the handler. This side against almost a 1-6, and Lataranta trying to get his own layout D to get it back. And there is the timeout called, and that is a rare midpoint timeout, I gotta say.
First time out of the game, I think.
Really? So Moiseman calling the first timeout, understandably, is Fab 9-7 up with a chance to get their second break of the game and take a 3-point lead.
Wait. Isn't this for the other apparel? We've got like new stuff, right? Bring it, bring it in. Feast your eyes on the new fan version of our iconic ULTI.TV sweatshirts. Great fan gear available for you. Check out our new range of colors and insist on staying warm and looking fresh. Shipping is available after EUCF. Get your fan gear and be one of us.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finny, he's done it.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to this incredibly intense and exciting affair. 9-7 to Fab. And immediately out of the turnover, that is a turn and burn timeout, if ever I've seen one. Big defensive pressure from Tauko Vananen on the dump, able to knock it away. One attempt, no completion after the timeout.
The curse of the turnout. It's real, folks. Believe it.
Believe everything we tell you. I think there's going to be a pit call that's going to slow down play.
That's a bit unfortunate for the Otso number 5, Vataranta, because he'd put his defender in the spin cycle.
I thought Litero was getting into a little bit of trouble, to be honest with you. But Vataranta has proven himself essential for Otso so far in this matchup. And a big blade over the top. That's not even close to... That's a stall out. That makes
it
a lot more
sounded
sense.
like a stall out from where I was.
Uncontested, Italo. It's rare you see an uncontested stall out as well.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I said it sounded like a... Because I could actually hear it. Which is a rarity.
So, Fab doubling the number of turnovers they've been able to generate in this game in this point.
That's the first point all game where either side has turned it over on more than one occasion.
And there's the sit down, lean back Huck. It's floating. It's going to be tough to bring it in. And he going for the greatest on the opposite side. Hop, he already had a goal in the end zone.
I mean, fair play for going for it, like. It didn't come off, but he had to give it a shot.
You got to try. Grau almost got a really good one in the previous game I was doing.
No. I thought do or do not. There was no try.
I can't promise that he tried, but he tried to try.
No, he did try. I think had it been completed, I think it would have been good. Like, I think it was a valid greatest. It just wasn't completed.
Well, Vataranta takes a quick sigh of relief. And a huge layup in again! There's going to be a call on that one. This time it's Fisher getting horizontal. Fab want this badly.
And the call is quickly retracted. Good spirit.
Fisher picks it up and immediately shoots to the end zone. Leading pass, toe, tap, score. Nino Afrini.
That point is... It's been a little bit of an outlier in the course of this game. A, because it was a break, only the second we've seen, and B, because we had both sides turning it over a bit, which hasn't happened. But we mentioned that there's been kind of just good vibes going on in this stadium, and you saw it right there because, you know, in a tight game, you know, first time it's getting a little bit of a grind and you know, big layout D like that to, you know, call it, take the breath and then say, actually, no, it was clean. And then, you know, retract the call, get play back in, and then it's close towards the back of the end zone. But the Otso player had a good view of it and was like, no, he was good. You know, like, it just shows that I think it's been very fair-minded. There is that sick block from the Austrian Fischer.
Yeah, he hooked a big one there.
You pleased with that one?
I'd say that's middle range for me. You want to talk about maximum range, that leading pass for a Afrini to take in. So now Otso, who to an extent are a little unfortunate to be 3 points down, having only given up 2 breaks in what has been a very close and impressive game.
Travel called.
So, oh, it doesn't even go back to Hotari, it goes all the way back instead to the waiting hands of Urio.
Yeah, that's why there's been the stoppage, because obviously they played on from that, but it has to go back to the thrower. So everyone is just going to get back into position.
Is Hotari wearing mismatched socks?
No, one of them is a compression sleeve.
So yes, then.
No, because I think he's wearing matching socks, but one of them has the compression sleeve underneath.
Well, let's see how he can deal with this mounting pressure from Fab. It's a nice smooth pass down the line. Great leading pass from Otso. The offense looks fantastic 90% of the time. That ends by Vananen, but about 3 different really impressive throws on the way down there.
I mean, Sambara had his pick of receivers, didn't he? Like, there were 2 of them right there, and initially I thought it was the lead pass for the player coming down the line, but then someone else is open in the end zone as well. 2 of them in the same space, but they do the sensible thing and make sure they stay out of each other's way. Yeah, there's Petrikis. I think he's running through, and Samba, he sees that, but he also sees the end zone as well. Got very good field vision and field awareness, and that makes it 10-8 to Fab.
That inside flick leading pass, to pull it off with enough delicacy.
It's a throw that is so much more difficult than it seems at first.
As we have another look, Tommy Sandberg has put on a very impressive show so far in this game. 3 goals, 1 assist, helping to lead the O-line. And I believe, I like the little in-sync drink he had there with Vurio as well. So here come Fab, 2 points to the good. And Otso changing up their defensive pressure, going with a wall, a single mark, so it's almost a cup when they can get him to the sideline, trying to get that trap off.
Again, I like it because Fab's O-line has generally been extremely parsimonious. They've not given the disc away at all. And you know what? Try something different. Disrupt that rhythm. Don't let them get comfortable. And they very nearly got a stall out there on Immersi.
So I do think a big aspect of the threat of this zone is stopping any deep shots, but also once you get to the sideline, that's where you can really exert the pressure. There's going to be space available right on the open side. There's the hammer over the top, not selling for it. Bisath was able to clear it, gets it back. An uprushing handler can be really effective against it, not letting it settle. As you see Otso switch that zone from sideline to sideline. Dorn with the disc. And a hammer over the top. They have no problems. Look at the smile on their faces.
That's the risk when there's kind of no wins. There's not really any dissuading aspect to putting those overheads up.
They're enjoying themselves right now. Bisath back to Emer. Oh no, yep, now he goes back to Immersi. Fakes me out with it, Metzger, Immersi. Like you say, there's a lot of overheads available. They just engaged in a little bit of Luke Skywalker drill with Petrikis.
Luke Skywalker drill?
Yeah, it's that drill where you throw it back and forth between you and someone else, and a third person's playing force.
Oh, right, okay, I'm with you.
It's like people have different names, but it's the basis drill. There's the hammer over the top, and Hotari tries to get in the way, but just becomes an audience member.
That's a bit of a heat check of a throw, isn't it? It's like, how am I feeling? We feeling good, lads? Yeah, let's go for it.
How much do I trust Marco Elmiger? A lot, understandably.
Yeah, the trust was well placed. Everything had seemed so calm and assured and downright sensible, to be honest. And then a rush of blood to the head, I don't know what, or whether Bisat just thought, now is the time. They're not maybe going to be expecting it. And there was good coverage from Hatari, to be fair to him. But Elmiger's a big man to deny, and on that occasion he couldn't.
But again, like you said, you were talking about the conditions. You got to throw something different at them. Great call, and that's an offensive hold. Those are going to happen. Good teams pull off offensive holds. Bisath having himself a little bit of a game as well in that handling position. You don't want to overlook him. And those hammers over the top himself. Immersi was also getting involved. Dorn a little bit, but finding the space, seeing where it is, and just hitting it straight away. So I doubt we'll see Otso go back to that zone, but I'm glad they rolled it out.
Yeah, they had the kind of the differentiation in the handlers because Immersi's kind of less keen to go for the overheads, and he's kind of more traditional, kind of vary the pivot point, break the mark. But they had, especially with the tall man Dawn as well, it's so easy for him to get those overheads out that
yeah, it's basically an uncontested throw.
It's giving the force a different problem to try and solve because obviously you mark different players in different ways.
Well, you certainly do at this level. Reaching grab, really nicely taken in. I thought that was going to go hit the dirt. Janilla gets it down the line. Vananen. There's a lot of clumping in front of him. Heavy traffic. Now Sandberg, a swish flake gets it to Hotari, and then that's a much easier finish to the end zone.
So much of Otso's offense has been so clean.
Good. So good.
You could eat your dinner off it. That's how good it is.
They're sweeping from sideline to sideline. They're taking these breaks on. Ilan Haimo had a couple of great throws. Sandberg has it here. You can see the little shoulder shimmy fake. pulls the force over, gives himself just enough of a corridor to hit Hotari, and then because Hotari's going to the break side, it's an easy backhand finish across to the streaking form of Tauko Vananen.
High fives all round. 4 goals so far for Tauko Vananen. Not a bad return.
Plenty to be proud of, but would you be happy with that performance if it was in a loss, 11-9 down?
I think you'd much rather have a game where maybe you don't get on the stat sheet as much, but you come out with the W.
They just haven't been able to finish this game, or they haven't been able to get a break. They've dislodged the disc, they haven't punched in. They haven't got a turnover on Fab's O-line this half, I believe?
That is correct. They haven't turned over Fab since, since the Swiss scored to make it 7-5. We mentioned that this pool crosses over with Pool G, where Wall City are at the top, and these teams will cross over with Smash D and Outsitters. Smash D took the first half on Galaxy Point 8-7, but the Bratislavans, I think Outsitters are based. I think they're based in the Slovak capital. They've scored to start the second half, so it's 8 there on serve.
I like how Metzger, I thought we wouldn't see the Otso zone again. We have the Mercy. Oh, and that time he doesn't go for the hammer and it gets into a turnover. Really nice D from Nuti. And here come Otso. They've got the turn. First of this half against the Fab O-line. Can they punch it in? Petraikas, we know he can get that give-go going effectively. Hotari goes to the inside flick, breaking an amazing layout block. Incredible scenes. Once again, Libashevsky makes an awesome play, and I am awestruck.
These are not free, cheap turnovers. These are players going out there and hunting blocks like a shark smelling blood in the water.
So Mercy settles for the nice path. Oh, Bisat. That is...
Love that.
I liked it. It was brave, shall we say, but he recognized where the defensive threats were and how much time his receiver had under the disc.
I'd use the word artistic.
Expansive, even, if we were trying to annoy a certain American producer. Jordan. Big hammer over the top, like you say, basically unblockable. There's that man himself, Libashevsky. Got the huge D. Stauffer. Across to Dorn. Thought he was going to send another hammer. Libashevsky, he puts it back in his pocket. And Mercy thinks about trying to go for the breakthrough to Stauffer. Instead takes the easier option to Dorn. And there's the hammer over the top. And Hotari just has to watch it glide by.
I mean, they've turned it over 3 times, Fab's O-line, and they've got it back every time and then punched it in at the second attempt. Like, it's tough to argue with that sort of efficiency. We saw Severin Rees go off with a bit of a knock at the end of the first half, but he's been A-OK in the second, and there is the block from Libashevsky. How good is that?
I mean, that's what you come to EUCF for. Plays like this. Hotari.
It's just the disc doesn't quite have enough inside-out shape on it. But normally, Hotari would get away with that. Normally, you would get away with that. But Libashevsky just refused to be denied, and then just a little dish to Dawn. And Hotari, you can say he's just trying to space things out in front of him, and he's able to loft that over. He can't quite shift his balance quickly enough, and Rees nips in behind for the score.
So Otso receiving the disc. And they need to keep it close. 12-9. Fab is close to finishing this game as Otso are to tying it, which seems cruel. Almost, anyway. Vurio. Sandberg. Ilan Himo. Back to Sandberg. And they're keeping it clean, keeping it concise with these cuts. Down the line again. Petraikas, a little bit of double duty. Oh, and a miscommunication. Vatarantha was going up the line just in time to realize the disc was going behind him.
Now that one is a little bit of a freebie with the miscommunication on the dump, but credit to Fab for shutting down the downfield options, forcing the reset, and the tight pressure forcing the miscommunication. There is a stoppage away from the disc.
Windelair picked it up and got the quick pop down the line to Fisher. Fisher, who had that fantastic block earlier as well. Some big layout Ds by these Flying Angels. Kristen has to send that back though.
Can hear a little bit of ABBA playing somewhere in the distance.
I feel like there's always ABBA playing in the distance in your life.
I mean, sometimes it's not that far away, to be honest.
If you just close your eyes, you hear ABBA no matter where you are.
It's a good life.
Fisher centers it back into the middle. And that was a tough grab, but eventually brought in by Ducot. Another player who pulled off a fantastic layout D. Simon, and this is good recycling. Fab not forcing too much. Fisher. Quick pop, front corner, and Ducot collects it. The defensive players pop in another break, 13-9.
Did you see Fisher just tease the hammer there ever so slightly? Just gets the defender scanning around, maybe on the balls of the heels ever so slightly. And it means that it creates the opportunity there for Ducot to come in and just nip to the front corner. And that is it's ruthless from Fab, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It is ruthless.
Ruthless is a great way of describing it. I was going to go with consummate defensive offense as they push the lead out to 4. The Flying Angels in flying form, 13-9 up.
Have you seen our VO streams? Do you know that VO cameras are built for more tactical team sport analysis? The inbuilt tracking technology allows you to see the game in finer detail. That's why teams are already using it, and ULTI.TV and EUF are teaming up to help you join VO. Contact EUF administration to get more details. Welcome back, everybody, to what is promised and delivered on a scintillating, a spectacular, tantalizing, tentative offensive performance. These two teams have been feeling each other out and going with the flow fantastically. Otso might be 4 points down, but I really don't think that much separates them. It's just been how clinical those Flying Angels from Bern have performed.
Clinical, clean, almost surgical at points to precision at which their offense has moved. And it was not a great pull and might have been offsides anyway, so regardless, it means it's going to come in at the brick mark here for Otso.
Jarvi. Nothing becoming immediately available. He's forced to go with the dump back to Hotari. Hotari thinks about a deep shot, like nothing else really becoming available. Eventually he finds relief in the form of Petraikas. And Petraikas sends one deep. Vuriel had the step, has the pace, and gets the collection. So after a little bit of pressure, 13-10.
It feels like it's not necessarily been a game about the deep shots. We've had some, but it's not necessarily been the primary feature of the offense. It's been a bit more slice and dice than grip it and rip it. But this time they created the isolation one-on-one in the deep space. And what I like about this throw from Petraikas is, yes, there's the pivot, but he doesn't overthrow it. He doesn't wrench and contort himself too much. He just sits it out there. He's got that outside in edge to just take it over and pass the defender there, Weibel, into his receiver's path. And Otso, well, they've done the first bit of their task and they've got that hold on the board, but now they need to try and find some ways to break for the first time all game.
Oskari Vurio, been really impressive. A goal, 2 assists, but I think the real tale is how he continually keeps their movement going. The way he just makes himself available for those dump resets. When he catches the disc outside of the end zone, he's pretty quick at looking for the next option and maintaining their flow. But that's not something Otso have lacked on the offensive side. It's once they get those turns, they've really struggled to punch them in. And they've had to earn those turns for the most part because Fab have been really impressive.
But honestly, both sides have been very impressive. If you know, if either or both of these sides make their way into the top 16, then depending on who they face, maybe they could try and take some names.
Stauffer. Bisath. That was a bit of a banana cut from the dump position, but it gets him into a power seat, looking for a mercy. Fantastic defense by Hotari, and I think a lot of people familiar with Finnish Ultimate would have expected maybe a couple more deep blocks of that ilk from Hotari in this game.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're shooting tight to the sideline, and I'm not sure whether Hotari does get a piece of it, but he certainly does enough to stop Immersi from getting it, and that is all he needed to do.
There's the leading pass. Once again, Otso get the turn. Can they get their first break? And it's another errant mistake. It gives Fab possession right outside the end zone. Touching distance of closing this game out. It's going to be a mercy, I think. Yeah, if I was Fab, I'd have a mercy pick that disc up.
Last time they got a short field turnover in this sort of situation, they punched it in on the very first pass.
So Mercy's definitely going to look for something of that nature, and there's the break. It floats, but in the end, it's a comfortable collection. One-hand grab for Libashevsky. Libashevsky's been really impressive.
He has, and another assist to Immersi's total. Just put it in his hands and let him cook. It seems to be the play at some points, and it works. Like Otso, when they have turned over the Fabo line, and it's been tough work because the Fabo line has been immaculate, it just, the D-line hasn't quite clicked offensively as they would have liked. Like, I think that will probably be their biggest takeaway, is that offense has been generally pretty good enough to win you games, but defensively, how could we find ways to generate more turns? Were we a little bit delayed in maybe going to some alternative defenses to try and just change the rhythm, you know, stop them getting comfortable, even if it's, you know, just making them throw more passes and play the percentages. Maybe that's something they could have done. And then when they have got the disc, what was going wrong with our D-line offense? How could we maybe set up the spacing, set up the timing a little bit better so that we are able to punch in on the opportunities that we've generated?
Maybe have a couple of set plays or something. It feels like after the amount of work they have to put in to dislodge possession from Fab, they're just a bit spent.
Well, maybe that is part of it, of course, that you have to work so hard to get the disc that how much energy you even have left to try and punch it in.
And there's the big deep shot. They're looking for Virio again. Bit of bump in the end zone, but he gets the possession by holding his position. And then a quick pop to Nuti for the score.
You can see what the plan was. They had the disc in this kind of, you split the field into thirds horizontally. They had it in this near third. The cut went deep from the far, and it gives you that lane right down the middle field to throw through. You can get it flat. You can have a little bit of inside shape, a little bit of outside shape. This one was relatively true right down the center. The big man has position and boxes out. And then from there, Vuorio just finds Knuti to put Otso back on the board. The task for them now, 4 breaks in a row, and that is some task against a Fab side that has not been broken all game.
We were talking about this in an earlier game. We're saying how we'd like our deep cuts to come. You think you want your deep cut in a straight line. It gives them more position to read the disc and react to it. And I was saying, I think I prefer my deep throws to go in a straight line and follow that thirds rule. But really, either of them kind of works. You divide the pitch into thirds, lengthways, and you always want to involve at least 2 of those thirds in any huck.
Yeah, they do say trying to avoid those same third hucks. Generally a good idea. But then you see teams be very fruitful with it, so it's about finding a style that works for you, I think.
Metzger hoping to put this game away. Stauffer, 18 years old, but really playing a fantastic part of this Swiss O-line. Bisath. And they're just jamming it down the line right now. They get it into Rees. Back to Bisath. Immersi. It's going to be a little bit of a call. Perhaps some contact. Fournier getting the unenviable task of trying to limit Immersi's offensive influence.
Very unenviable, in my opinion.
Hugo Fournier. So Immersi just steps out of the action. Metzger's in the dump space. Stauffer makes the cut. Corner collect. Goal! 15-11. And Fab with authority.
15-11, but what a 15-11 it was. You will scarcely find a better offensive performance all weekend, I think, Lorcan.
They didn't give up a break, right?
They did not give up a break. And yes, they gave Otso some opportunities, 2 in the first half, 2 in the second, but every time they got it back, and when they did, they were able to punch it in. Anytime you can go a game without getting broken is a huge win for an offense. A, because obviously it means that your offense has been generally relatively clean, and also that you know that they can play the O-line defense required to get the disc back when you do surrender it.
And what I would like to say, apart from maybe 1 or 2 miscommunications, which a lot of the time came from Otso's D-line offense, the defensive plays, some of Fab's defensive plays were absolutely incredible.
When the blocks came, they were proper blocks.
Huge layouts. Lipshevsky had an absolutely massive one. Fisher was brilliant. Decor.
You love that one.
I adored that one. And as you can see, it stands to them. 0 breaks for Otso, 3 breaks for Flying Angels Bern. They did start with the disc as well. That's the heartbreaking thing. Otso have 11 scores and 11 clean holds.
That's the thing. If they didn't, well, obviously if they didn't turn it over, they scored. But when they did turn it over, they were punished. Flying Angels were punishing them every time. It wasn't always a clean break necessarily. There was 1 point, made it 10-7, where Otso turned it over 3 times and Flying Angels twice. But generally, it was that you gave Fab 1 shot at it. And if they didn't punch it in, which they did the majority of the time, they were able to get it back and eventually get the break. Every time Otso turned it over, they were punished. Cruel.
Difficult to react to that, so we will see. Do you have an update on the Pool G game before we let everybody go to our other streamed game happening right now?
Oh, Smash D versus Outsitters.
Yes.
I do indeed. There has been a break and it has gone the Slovakians' way. So the current score is Smash D 10, Outsitters 11.
Hey, the winner of that game will play Otso. The loser will play Fab. And honestly, that seems like a pick your poison right now for those 2 teams. But for our team here, it has been an absolute pleasure. We hope you enjoyed that clinical game of offensive prowess, something to really take back to your team and show them as an example for many years to come. On behalf of myself, Lorcan Murray, the wonderful Benji Rees, and our whole ULTI.TV crew, thank you for joining us, but don't go anywhere because we got plenty more action still to come. Up next on this field, we have got Shout taking on Iceni, and Shout not looking the unstoppable force perhaps everyone thought they would be coming into this after a very close game against Box earlier. Iceni, a former European powerhouse and champion, very much on the rise. So
that is a game that has even more riding on it than perhaps we thought it might do coming into it. So that is going to be one that you do not want to miss. And of course, you can still have some double duty with GRUT versus Lemmings going on pitch 1. Those next games start in about 25 minutes time. It's 5 to 5 local time. You can do the adjustments. And actually, while we're just about to wrap up, you can flip over to Jinx versus Gravity over on pitch 1. And spoiler alert, if you don't want to see it in a second anyway, it's tied at 10s.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to head there too.
Yep.
I'll see everybody on that stream. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
When I lay down at night, I miss you by my side, telling me about your secrets. I dream and fantasize that I come by your house, telling you about my regrets. Why did I have to break it up? Guess I was way too shallow, my mind was way too narrow. I thought that I'd be better off, but now I pay the price. I do. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things No matter what I do, I can't let go. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things that I should do, so I can't forget, but you're always on my mind. Thought you'd be gone by tomorrow, but you're still there tomorrow, and the next day, the next day. I wish I wouldn't remember how you make me feel better in the best ways, the best ways. Take it away, feeling too good.
Thank you.
Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Get me something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah.